Welcome home, brave heroes. I am Ash, and these are the submissions to the 2024 Quest Jam. Be advised there will be spoilers ahead. And now, onward. Rise of the Dread Moon 0.5, A Cracked Mirror by Jacob Busby. Sir Ragnar took great pains to hide his trail from the royal prison to Elathorn's edge, but reckoned without your resolve. You track him back to a hollow beneath an overgrown hawthorn. Reputedly, an unsale pilgrimage. Get ready. This quest is wild. That's all the preamble text you get, because there needed to be a lot more room for the quest notes, and the quest notes are jam-packed. The heroes are going to start here, right on Ian Schofield's beautiful Dungeon Mat's QR code. It's a link to my Big Bonk account. Subscribe today. I think you mean it's a link to my Only Wands. I have a channel on the more refined DewTube. Oh, that's a grudging for all three of you. When the heroes peer through the gate of the portcullis, it's too thin to shoot through, they see the orc and a smashed mirror beyond. Suddenly, a giant thorns burst from the floor and crush the orc. This is one of those quests where there are a ton of roleplay opportunities, and there's a lot of interaction with items on the board, so you're going to have to be a merciful Zargon and let your heroes know that they can interact with various objects in this quest. For example, interacting with this torture rack reveals that it is actually the lever that pulls open the portcullis. There are a lot of other details that are really nice to see too, such as when the heroes enter this room, the living are fighting the undead, and then a scene plays out wherein these green skins just destroy these undead. You're going to have to fight them all once you get in here, but it's nice to have a sort of introduction to what's going on. You see, there's lore. Zombies encountered in this quest are corpses bound together by roots and sap. They have movement of 1. They are immune to missile attacks, and when they are slain, they explode into spores. Heroes in the 8 surrounding spaces become infected for this quest only. All living enemies except the Barghest begin the game infected. Before acting, an infected figure must roll a die, and on a black shield they miss their turn. Now, instead of attacking a zombie, a hero may shove it. To do so, they roll their base attack, +1 with a shield, and move the target up to 2 spaces per skull rolled. I've always liked a good shove action, actually. Advice to Zargon, try to guide your heroes into exploring the upper right quadrant of the map first, as this quadrant contains the Alchemist's Bench with the notes that the heroes are required to know about, to be able to piece together the clues in order to finish this quest. Yeah, it's one of those. Put together the clues, repair the cracked mirror, and escape the Hawthorn. Thank you, Jacob, for this awesome quest. Polluted Waters, Chapter 3 of the Lost Forge campaign, by Bohemius. Welcome back, heroes, said the old dwarf, after adjusting his long curly beard and clearing his voice. Now that you recovered the secret map of the Lost Forge of Gauntlet, we have a new problem ahead of us. Our engineers are sure of it. In order to operate the secret doors of the forge and the forge itself, we need to have access to the ancient aqueduct built by our ancestors. A long time ago, a clan of orcs, raiders from the borderlands, took control of it, and it never worked since then. To retake control of the aqueduct, you must find and eliminate their clan leaders. Yes, I said leaders. 2 orcs, twins, cunning as they are cruel, skilled traps builders, and expert fighters. Be careful and good luck, heroes. Your success is going to take us 1 step closer to unveil the lost secrets of the forge, and why Zargon's agents are so interested in it. A barbarian, a knight, an elf, and a rogue began this dungeon of traps and treachery. The creativity starts from room number 1. The statues represent the 3 dwarf engineers, although there's nothing dwarfish about them. One of them was rigged as a trap, now it is a pile of rubble. And we can see in the quest map that we are supposed to use the tile that represents the suit of armor alongside the 2 statues on plinths that come with Rise of the Dread Moon. This is a really fun way to do that. As far as my choice of heroes goes, I think it's a very wise idea to have either a dwarf or a rogue on your team, because this quest is chock full of traps. These orcs were not playing around. It's falling rocks and spears as far as the eye can see. We're not even going to talk about what's in this room. I was quite intrigued by the corridors being made into very small crawlways in this quest. Pretty much all of the corridors have been erased, save for the western wall, which connects the south and north parts of this dungeon. Try to avoid the scenario. Try to avoid the scenario as much as you possibly can. But I'll just come in here and slay a few goblins, you say. I hear you, but don't do that either. Because as soon as you free up 1 space for a goblin to move into, another goblin can attack you and move into that space, freeing up a space for another goblin to be able to move in and attack, meaning any hero that steps into this room could be attacked up to 8 times. But it's going to be alright. My magical elf wields a powerful spell that no other hero has. The power, yes, of off-screen dice rolling. Wow, perfect attack. Take that, monster. I don't think I did that right. I'm pretty sure the goblins are supposed to be kited through the sewers into the library, but oh well. This quest is actually quite forgiving in terms of the treasure that it allows you to find. There are a lot of different pieces of armor and weapons that are really valuable that the heroes can either sell for gold or just keep if they don't already have them. The weapons rack in its room all by its lonesome with just the 2 orc guards is a bit of a comedic touch. But then the orcs around the table here, I really wish there was a quest note for how they react or behave when you enter the room. I think that this could be a great opportunity for those Zargons who fancy a bit of role-playing with their game, though.
Oh, and I just laid down a full house,
says this ogre is the cook of the orc clan. Whoever defeats him finds a chainmail. What's he doing in here? Is he tenderizing the meat on the torture rack? I love that idea. Cooking it in the fireplace? Man, my mind is running rampant with the possibilities here. Love this. Wait, what are they eating? I like this dream sequence. Stop it. Stop it. We made it to the forge, guarded by the gargoyle, except it's not a forge, it's ice tiles, because I seem to have misplaced my forge tile, but never mind that. We'll defeat the gargoyle, and we'll just pretend that the forge is cold. It's so cold, it's icy. So this is actually one of the coolest setups that I've seen in any HeroQuest ever. The heroes enter this room, the portcullis opens, the orcs are allowed to flood into the room as they so please, but these 2 rooms are connected by use of this overlay tile, the treasure tile, and there's 2 thrones, 2 orcs sitting on the thrones, checking out the rest of this room. It's just a lovely scene, and it's one that takes a little bit of effort and imagination to put together to begin with, but man, I really appreciate it. What a great way to end this quest. Well done, Bohemius, for a quest that is well thought out, well executed, and well notated. Everything makes perfect sense, and there is a lot of stuff to give the heroes for this quest. And so thank you, Bohemius, for this awesome quest. The Gauntlet by Seth717. A mysterious illness plagues the land, threatening all unless action is taken. Legends speak of an urn with healing powers, hidden in a temple beyond the woods. 4 heroes, chosen by the king, set out on a quest to retrieve it, but an old sage warns them. No one has seen the temple for centuries. To reach the urn, they must pass a sleeping black dragon above the ruins of an old city. The sage tells of a treacherous tunnel beneath the city, but warns of its dangers. Despite the risks, they agree it's their only chance of navigating the woods. They find the dragon guarding the passage. Realizing they can't bypass it without waking the dragon, they prepare to brave the tunnel, knowing it's their only hope of reaching the urn and saving their land. This quest is for a pack of the 4 original heroes who just finished the main quest book. Finally, a campaign that clearly puts itself right after the main campaign. Finally, a quest that places itself squarely after the main campaign. This southwestern door marks the entrance of this deadly tunnel for the heroes. And it is deadly right off the bat. What in the Keller's Keep is this? Assuming you do what I do and invoke the ancient barbarian rite of doorway combat, you won't find this out until after you step foot in the room. But of course there's a falling block trap right in the room where there would have been 2 dread warriors. What in the Return of the Witchlord is this nonsense? At least there's plenty of treasures in the treasure chests. I'm already having a lot of fun with this quest because it uses skeleton archers. It specifies that these archers must be the ones from the Against the Ogre Horde quest pack. And I happen to very much like these sculpts and these characters, so I'm very happy that they were included with this quest. Obviously, with them being skilled with a longbow, you're going to have to run up to the monsters as quickly as possible, only to be made aware that there was an ambush waiting for you in the wide corridor ahead. Meanwhile, my barbarian is trying her best not to set off any traps. This is not fair. This is a trap in and of itself. You're trapped in the room with this gargoyle. Even if you're not trapped in this little room, you can't leave via the big room. Ugh, oh well. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill barbarian. This is a barbarian that has survived the main campaign, the game system, and so this barbarian should have a couple of tricks up their sleeve, perhaps even some plate mail or a battle axe. Well, I spoke too soon. I discovered the gargoyle but failed to read its quest note. It turns out it doesn't attack or move or anything until you find the secret door, and then we go through the motions of everything that I described a few seconds ago. Whew, that was a close one, except it's the exact same thing for this poor barbarian. Now you just have to hope that the rolls will be in your favor. A weakened barbarian is an easy target for a mummy. Breathing laboriously and applying bandages where they can, our heroes finally reconvene in the wide corridor to continue their journey. There are no special notes for this room. I am disappointed. There's an ogre, a throne, and a fireplace, but no notes whatsoever. Not really any notes for this one either, just a library with a bunch of greenskins in it. Not even a library, it's just one bookshelf and one cabinet. Giant room, lots of greenskins. Battle, dramatic battle. There are a lot of ways to get into this room as well. If you went around the corridor, you'd eventually find this wolf. Or you'd come around this way, trigger the wrath of the two ambushing orcs, and then find this zombie. A secret door leads into the true Gauntlet portion of this quest, which is rooms full of undead and greenskins galore, until we get to room full of grayskins. Whoops, I forgot to put a door there. There we go. No lore for this room either? That goblin is just standing there chilling with these cultists. Finally, we get to the dreaded necromancer. And if we take this guy out, all of the undead in the level will fall, except that's not much of a boon because by the time you get to him, there are no more undead in the level. You just kind of have to hope that you defeated them all and that you haven't just kited them to him. That's actually not a bad strategy, or maybe it's a terrible strategy now that I think about it. Anyway, it's in your best interest to get this guy down as fast as possible. I know I use that phrase a lot, but this time it's pretty crucial to the entire quest. All right, opening this secret door begins another sort of kind of mild gauntlet with a couple of goblins that goes into a room with a giant pit and a polar warbear, but then empties out into a larger room with the frozen horror. And there are no quest notes for this. There is a horror lurking in this tunnel, and there's no context. The horror is just here. You get nothing for defeating him except for a passage to a secret hallway that will kill you. Ah! It's going to take all you have and more to survive the Gauntlet. Can you do it, brave heroes? Thank you, Seth717, for this awesome quest. To play these quests and the other epic quests submitted to the 2024 Quest Jam, please visit the link in the description below. Now onward, brave heroes.